Hello and welcome, everybody. It's time, once again, to talk some sports with you and us right here on the Sconny Scoreboard weekly Wisconsin sports podcast. My name is Jason Streubel, here with the always wonderful Ben Hallett. How you doing?
Pretty good, Jason. How you doing today, sir?
Not too bad. Sun's out, so was able to enjoy some nice weather. Went out and got disc golfing, like you do when it's nice out. So took care of that.
That was my question. Did you get out? And you did. Awesome.
I sure did.
Yeah, we're ramping up. That weather's getting nicer and nicer, I feel like, and I don't want to say it, but hopefully we're in the clear.
Mm-hmm. I think we're in the clear now.
I think so.
I know we've been burned in the
Knocking
past
on
with
wood.
some late April snow, but I think we're all right. I think we can safely say we're good as far as the weather goes. So this is April the 16th, 2025. Right after taxes. Hope you did them on time. Get them done. Get it over with. You don't want the IRS on you. So, with that out of the way, now that I brought everybody down, let's perk everybody back up a little bit. We've got sports, some good ones too, some pretty decent good ones. We got
good ones.
We got the Bucks ending the season the way they're supposed to, beating the teams that are trying to lose, and then beating a team that's trying to win twice in a row. Hey, look at that. And then you've got the Brewers putting it back together after a humbling start. We'll call it a humbling start. It's a rough deal. So, but we'll start with the Bucks. We're into the playoffs now. We're into the play-in tournament now, and that's always fun, I guess. I guess it depends on your point of view.
I understood it during shutdown, but I don't understand it anymore. So,
it's the best.
It's just another home game for another team that gets some more money, and how many teams have made it out of this play-in? Maybe the Heat. Are they the only one so far?
Didn't the Lakers make a run, or the Warriors maybe as a play-in they made a run?
Maybe.
I think that happened.
But no one's won it out of the play-in yet.
No.
So it could make it interesting, sure, but I mean these 9-10 teams who are playing tonight are 9-10 teams for a reason. So
well, the 2020 Lakers, was that the COVID year?
Yeah, that was COVID year. Mm-hmm.
Okay, they were apparently a play-in team, but
that was the first year of the play-in too, and play-in I think was weird for that one.
Yeah, that whole season was goofy for many reasons, right? Many reasons for that. But yeah, the play-in tournament, I heard somebody say it has first four energy. Talking about the first four games for the NCAA tournament, it's very much like that. Because if you are in the play-in tournament and then you end up as the 9th or 10th seed, you still get to the lottery. You still get like a percentage. You get a couple balls in the lottery. And well, what are you? Are you a playoff team or not? What's this?
It's almost like you don't want to be in there because you're going to be like, oh, they're just the play-in team last year. You don't want to be called the play-in team, honestly. I wouldn't. Like, you want those 6 spots, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to play those extra games. Because, again, the whole nation, everyone's watching you because they're just highlighted. It's 4 games or whatever, or 2 games the first night, 2 games the next night. And it's just like, yeah, you got to, like, put up or shut up. And, some of these teams did not look, last night just did not look well, like Orlando smoking the Hawks was, it's embarrassing. So,
and I think part of the problem here is that the NBA can't field 16 competitive teams. Like, and I think they know that, and that's why they have to do this. Because you can't have 6 teams in, right, on each side. So you can't have 12 because it'd make the bracket weird. So you have 8 teams on either side, but they really, especially when the conferences are so lopsided, you have 8 to 10 good teams on one side, and then like 4, 5 good teams on another side when it's particularly unbalanced, like back in the 90s when the East was really bad. Mm-hmm. And it's just like they're trying to make these middling teams more relevant later in the year, and I guess they're doing that, but I don't know if anyone actually cares. It's just more basketball, which is cool, but it's not. It doesn't feel like important basketball to me. I don't know. Do you feel that way?
I feel the same way. Yeah, it's not important. Like Michael Wilbon on ESPN, I love him, and he's a huge Bulls fan, and basically the whole, they talked about it today on PTI. Like he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna watch it, but what does it even mean?" Like it's like, I want them to win, but their season's been, tumultuous with everybody like either getting traded away or being hurt or whatever. Like it just wasn't a good year. So, do I want to see the Bulls, play the Heat? No. I'd rather just have the 1 through 8 seeding again and just go for it, not have this extra whole like week now of prolonging the playoffs, and then now we're going to be finishing this at the end of June because of it's just it's more money, it is more exposure for the teams though too, and but it's all about the Benjamins.
Yeah, and there's just I don't mind them making more basketball, making more money, sure, whatever, but just make it something people want to watch. I don't know. I don't know if I have a solution just off the top of my head for as far as like making more teams significant. I don't know if I can answer that right now, but one thing it's tanking is like the other end of this problem, right? Where the NBA teams are tanking, the ones that are bad are tanking so hard that it's like, talk about not wanting to watch or not a fans not caring about watching that game. Like, my God, they're not trying. Oh, the game's close late in the game. Let's pull all the starters so we make sure we lose. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, but it's funny because this league is a league that you can tank and not get the number 1 overall pick because it's a lottery. I mean, it's smart. You had to put that in. It's weird that like an NFL or, well, basically NFL. I wouldn't say MLB. Or NHL, but NFL not having something like that because teams do that all the time too, and they get the number 1 pick, no question. But yeah, like you said, it's not a good product to watch. People don't want to watch it as a fan of the actual team or just a fan of the NBA or basketball in general. So, yeah, I don't know how you make a better product. I don't know how you make these play-in teams better. Like I said, I think to make it better is to get rid of it and go back to the 8-8, but. Or even it sounds, even this is maybe a solution. Make it less. Do 6 and 6. Like,
yeah.
Do you want to make it in? Make it in, and maybe that will turn around some of these teams to be like, like we're 7th and 8th every year. Like we're not going to make it in anymore. Like what do? We gotta, and then maybe that will change something in the NBA where it'll make it tougher to get in the playoffs instead of easier.
Oh, and I think as much as I hate. Kind of dampening the significance of doing well in your conference. I think because of the situation they're in, the NBA kind of has to reseed, that by record, regardless of conference, before they put in the playoffs, just because of the imbalance, and they just don't have 16 highly competitive teams. One thing I did hear. Shout out to AM Hoops on YouTube. I heard this from him, or one of his videos. He said there was a talk, like an idea for to avoid tanking and maybe kind of some of this imbalance, is that the draft picks are decided at the All-Star break.
I mean, that would be amazing, but
Right?
holy crap. That would be, yeah. And maybe even to make it even more interesting, who wins the All-Star game, East or West, actually gets the first pick. You know what I mean? Like, make it even more like, hey, you guys want to play? You know, like, I don't know. I think that's a pretty damn good idea. I think it's great.
Right? Like then so the worst team is going to have the best lottery chances by All-Star break, and then after that, hey, these teams that are kind of low end
You want to keep
lottery,
tanking, or
they
yeah,
can make a run, and it won't, the tanking teams, excuse me, the teams that are tanking can still tank, and the ones that are kind of middling but maybe poised to make a run or make a big trade or have somebody coming off an injury or something like that can like make it fun to watch because they have something to play for.
yeah, that's a great idea actually.
I thought that was clever.
I don't know what else you're gonna do, so yeah, that's best idea I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, shout out to AM Hoops.
Yeah, AM Hoops, nice.
But let's take this back home now that we've kind of gone off about the play-in tournament and the NBA.
Yeah.
Because you got to every once in a while because it's frustrating.
You do.
Yeah, but the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Looking real good going into the end of the season, man. 8 in a row. Love it.
We keep telling all these teams that you just have to win them all, and they never do. And then the Bucks do, finally. First ones that's listened to us.
Right?
Win all the games. You got to win them all. They are winnable, and they all were. I mean, it was great. Like, to see, we talked about like some of these teams that would be easy. Like, the Pelicans twice in a row was going to be like you've been calling them the tanking team for a while now. But to win those games, but like we said, those last 2 games against the Pistons were going to be big. And we won that first one, and that was the end of it. So the final game of the season, that Sunday game, was just a fun game to watch all the bench players just duel it out. So, but yeah, just like you said, they won them all. They beat every team they needed to. Looked impressive at the end too. Without Dame, Bobby coming back.
That's so huge.
KPJ, of course, just lighting it up, looking better and better and better. Kuzma having a really good final game. Had 22 points, I think, in the first quarter or something like that. So just to come out and to do that, I think I honestly think he's going to be a pretty big X factor for this Bucks team in the playoffs. Is Kyle Kuzma?
Yeah, if he plays well, right? I think if he plays well, that's just it takes so much stress off of the bigger cogs in the machine, if you will. If Kyle Kuzma, just because he's a stretch guy, he can kind of defend. He can defend 3 positions, right? He can do all these things, and if he can do all that, takes so much pressure off of Giannis having on the defensive end, so he can focus on getting buckets. Yeah, that's a good call. Great call. He's the X factor because I think at this point Kevin Porter Jr. is just going to play well. I don't think we have to worry about that. And this is just
he's just going to keep getting better and better.
And this is just the momentum they needed. The Bucks needed heading into this because so many question marks with Dame and Portis just coming back. And they just kind of underperformed all season, and there's so many question marks all over this season. Are they too old? Are they too young in the spots they need? So many questions. And for them to, for the last 10 games, go 8-2, win the last 8 games of the season against teams that are tanking, yes, but also some teams that aren't, and beating teams they need to beat and should beat to go into that Pacers series. I haven't been this optimistic about the Bucks in a couple years, man. Like, I think they can win. Yeah. I
what they
think
have on the floor is healthy, and that's huge. Getting Bobby back and I was really quick wanting to go back to the T-Wolves game. I think that's really the changing point. I know it's only 4 games ago, but to come back that 34-3 comeback and KPJ having 5 steals and like 3 of them in the last like minute or whatever that is to take over and win that, just showed like we can beat pretty much anybody if we want to, if we're determined to. And the biggest thing right now between to play the Pacers is not just playing them, since we played them so many times, is I think just this big break is always a weird thing. Like it's gonna be 6 days since the last game, and it's just like it's a crapshoot. Who's gonna have the upper hand, who's gonna be ready, and I just hope the Bucks are. They rested everybody on Sunday. That's significant in that starting role. So let's do this. Let's bring it on. Saturday at noon.
Hell yeah, dude. Saturday noon. Be there, be square in Indiana. What are you thinking? Bucks and 6?
Yeah, I can see Bucks and 6. I mean, in all honesty, we could have been undefeated against the Pacers this year if it wasn't for that football play, 4-point play at the end of that.
That crazy. Oh, man.
Yeah, Halliburton pulling that off. So, I think we can beat these guys this year. I think this is different. I think it's, again, I think we've talked about this before, how we got younger, and that's going to really help. And again, fresh legs Bobby. 25 game suspension sucks, obviously, is horrible, but man, he is pissed off and ready to go off. So I can't wait to see that. I was going to also just bring up, too, this year, like Giannis, 30 points per game this year, but 60% from the field. So just, again, stepping up another level, that mid-range game, looking amazing. And then at the end of this year, just taking those more confident threes and hitting them, because usually last couple of years I just would scream at the screen. What are you doing? Do not take that. I don't care how much we're up, we're down, you're wide open, you're by yourself. Just don't do it. Anybody else? So to see them picking and choosing those spots a little bit better too and hitting them is, again, just elevating that game a little bit more, and taking it into this playoffs is going to be huge. Going to be tough starting in Indiana, but again, we take one of those and bring it back to Pfizer Forum. We can get this in 5 or 6, I think.
Absolutely. I agree. Even without Dame, there's enough going on the roster where they can beat Indiana. I'm pretty confident. And like you said, they had the season sweep on them. Or I think that was the 3rd game of the year. But anyway, like they could have had it.
Yeah.
And, Indiana's a good defensive team. But so are the Bucks when they're playing well. And I think they have the Bucks with Kevin Porter Jr. They have that scoring and that just straight game. And then with Kuzma, they picked up that athleticism and that length, and I think that rounds out their team really nicely. And they're just kind of seem to be figuring it out at exactly the right time. And playing a few tomato cans like this at the end of the year can be a good thing for a team like where the Bucks are, where they needed to kind of see what the result is when they're clicking, when they're firing on all cylinders. Like it felt like they didn't know what that would look like until the last 8 games, and they were like, oh, this is what it looks like when we're kicking ass. Okay, now we figured that out. We just need to do this all the time now. So I see them going, now I'm like, okay, let's see, bring them on the Cavs. Like, I know they didn't win a single one against the Cavs this year, or the Celtics, or the Knicks, but hey.
Yeah.
Hey, man, like, you got to start somewhere, and why not in the second round of the playoffs?
Yeah, don't think about the past. Let's focus on the future and shock the world. I know I've said that in a podcast, shock the world. But yeah, do it. But again, got to get past this little hiccup in the road first, the Pacers. One other thing I was going to say about that final game to the season where no one really played, but Pat Connaughton played. He had 43 points and 11 rebounds. Just talk about like having some some confidence going into the playoffs. Like he went out there and took over that game, which we're going to need him off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
And then like having Pete Nance. I don't know if you knew we had a Pete Nance on the team. I didn't until he played on Sunday.
Is that Larry Nance's brother, or
he looks he looks like a Nance. I didn't look anything farther than that, but he looks just like all the Nances do. But he had 19, 5 of 9 shooting from 3, and then Tyler Smith, another just two-way player who's gonna be playing on this playoff team, off the bench. He had 20. Like just these players you don't hear about all year are just playing great when they step up. So it was nice to see that as well. Like this bench can go deep. These guys can play if needed. So not that people are gonna get hurt, but we need some rest. We have some really good players in the wings, to keep this going. Not to mention like your AJ Greens, obviously he played too, and Andre Jackson Jr. But yeah, I just thought some of those guys who are relatively not known who are on our team stepped up and played, especially Pat Connaughton. He's been very quiet all year and has a lot of DNPs just because other people on the roster have been taking a spot. But it was just good to see him like he can still play.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we'll need him.
Yeah,
we'll need him in these playoffs. So.
Yep. Experience still goes real far in the playoffs in these kinds of situations. Mm-hmm. So we'll be watching that Saturday, noon o'clock. High noon.
Oh, yeah.
Game 1, Bucks Pacers. Also that day, Clippers head over to the Nuggets for Game 1 over there. And then Pistons.
Everything pretty much.
Yeah, the Pistons. I saw the Pistons in this. I'm like, wait, am I in the right spot? The Pistons are in the playoffs? It's been so long since they've been any good.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're Game 1 against the Knicks, and then the T-Wolves have Game 1 against the Lakers on Saturday as well. So make sure to watch some basketball.
Lots of good basketball on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, honestly, the next 7 games, next week and a half to 2 weeks is going to be crazy.
It's every day. Yeah.
First round of the NBA playoffs is always dope. Just tons of basketball. Yeah. So make sure you catch it all. Bucks will play every other day guys. Or so.
Basketball will be gone. So take advantage of it.
Right? We'll be waiting until October after this.
Mm-hmm.
So for the thing that we will be occupied with between basketballs, we have baseballs.
Jason's favorite sport.
Yeah, my favorite sport. Baseball. And we have a team up here in Wisconsin called the Milwaukee Brewers, who are, don't look now, playing pretty all right, considering that initial, we'll call them struggles. They just, that historically rough start, we'll call it, which I think is respectful enough to describe it.
It's very nice of you, Jason.
Thank you.
Very nice of you.
So
they appreciate that.
I hope so. So now they're kind of swinging up and down, getting into the rocking rhythm of a baseball season. Let's see. They did win that 4-game series against the Reds. Was it week ago? Win that series against the Rockies, then drop a series to the Diamondbacks 2-1 or 1-2, and then they did win that series against the Tigers. So up and down, like performance wise, because like you have a 9-1 loss followed by 5-0 win, but they're winning the series.
Yes.
Hittings
only lost 2 series so far this year.
The hittings come back online. They're starting a series against the Athletics, which should be, batting practice. So
it's like the Madonnas, the Athletics. Where are you? Where are you from? We're not from anywhere. We're the Athletics.
The Athletics baseball team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So where are the Brewers at, Ben? Tell us.
Yeah. The Diamondbacks. That was a tough one to swallow. That was the only really down point I thought of this last, say, 5, 6, 7 games here, because on Saturday we had that. It was 4-0 in the 9th, so we lost that 5-4. So that was pretty hard. Payamps came in. He hasn't been pitching the greatest lately and gave up a couple. And then McGill came in, our closer, and gave up the final 3. So that was a tough pill to swallow because, again, dominating that whole time. And then the 9th comes around and we lose that game. And then again, the next day on Sunday, have the lead and then lose it again down the road, which was tough to swallow too. So that whole series, we should have been literally at least 2-1, maybe 3-0 to win that series, but we lost it. So that kind of obviously that hurt because that was only the second series we lost all year compared to that blowout we had at the beginning against the Yankees. So it would have been really nice to have that and taking at least 1 or 2 more wins away just for us in the standings too. But and then excuse me, on Monday we started with the Tigers at home, and you mentioned 9-1, which again, it's a blowout. But Tarkin Skubal, who's one of the pitchers, or their ace on the Tigers, just dominated. I think he's one of the best pitchers in baseball, hands down. And you could just see he was throwing fastballs at 95, and then he was cranking up to 100, at the end.
Rude.
And still just being as accurate, and just wow, just this guy is.
He's just messing with people at that point.
He was. So, again, I just knew that they came out again firing, scoring immediately, and then we could not get a hit off this guy at all forever. It was just going to be a loss. So 3 losses in a row was a big concern again. I was just like, what are we doing? What is going on? Again, the Diamondbacks should have been team, they're tougher, but we should have beat them. And then you get this, Cy Young winner coming in here and crushing us. But then, you get the Tigers of old in that last 2 days. Shut them out 5-0 yesterday. A lot of home runs. The last couple days here, it was nice to see Rhys Hoskins getting into it again.
Yeah.
He's been in a slump for a while.
Yeah, it wasn't his first home run yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He had a couple hits in a home run yesterday. He had a home run today. So, seeing the ball better, feeling the ball. Yelich too is coming out. He's been hitting the ball a little bit better. He had a Sunday off, which is a scheduled day off, but I think it was just a good day off mentally for him too. And he's been looking like he's coming around. And Contreras has been coming around too. I know last podcast I kind of talked about how the older guys were the ones that need to kind of step up, because your Tarangs, your Cheerios, your Frelix are all, hitting 300 or hitting around 300 or better and just crushing it. So those guys need to step up, and they are. So if we get all these guys, just going off on the offense, we're going to be unstoppable. You're going to fall in those hiccups where you're going to get a really good pitcher, obviously. But man, the last 2 games, they looked great. 5-0, 5-1, the final scores. And again, a day off, a nice day of rest tomorrow before we start that series with the Athletics. But, we're second in the Central right now behind the Scrubs, just a game back. But, they have plenty of time to screw everything up too. And again, we're rocking and rolling. The big thing is we're getting pitching back soon.
Yes.
Quintana's been back. He looked really solid again today. Just gave up 1. And then, I wanted to mention that game yesterday too, on Tuesday. Quentin Presser, he's been a Brewer for I think 10 days now. It was his second start, and he gave up 1 hit, in 5 innings. Not too shabby.
Yeah.
So having these guys step in at who were not even supposed to be on the roster at the beginning of the year, let alone now starting and being successful and winning.
Mm-hmm.
Again, shout out to Chris Hook, pitching coach last 7-8 years of the Brewers. He's been doing a phenomenal job. Who's ever in there, so it's again great to see Quinn come out there and pitch. I don't know if we'll use him as much down the road because we're gonna have a Woodruff sighting pretty soon. He's gonna be pitching in Appleton in a day or two, I think.
Oh boy,
so he's almost to the Brewers. Sounds like he's really amped up to go, but they're just taking their sweet time. They do not want to rush this or go backwards again. So
no,
yeah, if we get him back, whew, it's
yeah,
gonna be looking really, really good.
Mm-hmm. And that was like the big concern we had, right? Like once the pitching does come back, is the offense even going to be in a position to take advantage of that? I think that was one of the questions like we had, and I think we know now. Like it sure looks like that's not going to be an issue. One stat I did hear was that like collectively the Brewers' third base is batting 150. And that's not great. And that's we're looking at Oliver Dunn, Vinny Capra, Sal Frelick. Who do you see maybe kind of, finding bat on ball at some point to try to get that number up?
I honestly was hoping Vinny Capra was the guy. I mean, opening day he hit a home run at Yankee Stadium, and I thought, oh, okay. Where's this third base? And he's the only offense that showed up that day. So I was like, okay, him and Oliver Dunn, maybe that's going to be a good, a good tandem there at third base. But Frelick is playing the outfield, so he's not going to play third base anymore.
Okay.
Because they're trying to keep Yelich more DHing than actually playing the field, because you got Cheerio, Mitchell, and Frelick out there. That works. And then Blake Perkins will come back at some point after when he's not injured, and then that'll fill that fourth rotation. So Yelich will be out there like once or twice a week playing outfield. So yeah, I don't know. At the beginning of the season, it sounded like Rhys Hoskins at first, and then you got Jory Ortiz at third, Terang at second. And then is it Corbin Durbin? I think who's a minor league player. I think there was going to be coming up to play second, but then that didn't work out. So yeah, Joy Ortiz was going to be there, and that would have been obviously a better fit than the two guys we have. So I don't know. At some point, are they going to maybe bring someone up over there to fill that spot? Because that's literally the only position right now that's really struggling. If you look at it overall, maybe shortstop might be not as great in overall average too, but everywhere else across the field it looks pretty well. So I don't know if they can find somebody in the minor leagues to bring up, if they can position someone else over there. It'd be great to put Frelick over there, but he just won a Gold Glove out in the outfield. I don't think they're gonna move him anytime soon.
Yeah, that's fair, right? That's fair.
So you've proven that, okay, that's probably the spot you should be. So, yeah, I don't know, honestly, what they can do. They might wait till trade deadline to get somebody. I don't know. It's going to be tough, that third base. But we knew that coming in, honestly. That was the one spot that was kind of a question mark.
Sure.
And on who's going to fill that void.
And Sal Frelick being the younger guy there, you'd like to see him kind of be the guy, but we'll see. This is baseball, right? There's slumps. You have slumps and you have runs, and it's just how it goes. Somebody will pick it up.
Just got the first torpedo bat on the team today. Which is pretty hilarious, because the announcers made a big deal out of it, and I'm like, oh yeah, they haven't had one yet. First pitch, he lays down a butt, and I was like, but yes, it was a sacrifice RBI. It was RBI, so it worked. But it's just so funny, like for a whole minute making a big deal of that bat, and you just tink.
That's fantastic. I love that. Yep.
So
I love that.
Yeah, so we'll see. When those come, I'm just curious if they really will do anything or not. But I know Reese Hoskins has some ordered, so. But yeah, maybe he won't want those now since his other bats turned out to be hotter and hotter last couple of days.
Yeah, we'll see. They got plenty of chances coming up. Games against the Athletics, so let's see.
I saw an interesting interleague stat too. I thought I could bring up today. Since 2022 is when they started like the interleague. Kind of you have to play every team once for a series. The Brewers are third overall in all teams in interleague, so that's kind of an interesting stat. Yeah, dominating too. So, I thought I didn't know how to feel about these games because, yeah, it's great to play every team, but again, you're not, we're Detroit's coming here, we never go there, so it's kind of like you're still playing them, but it's still advantage kind of one way, at least home field, whoever's got it, but it's just good to see that interleague that we're dominating, and all we need to do now is get to that World Series so we can dominate that against the actual interleague for a championship. So.
Right. And I kind of did like it when the American League and National League had different designated hitter rules, and then they had interleague, so you'd have like pitchers that were never asked to hit before go out there. I loved that. I thought that was fantastic. I thought that was great. You got like, Cliff Lee out there like, he might have been a good pitcher. He might have been a good hitter. Can't think anybody.
Was, honestly. But
probably,
it could be anybody. Ben Sheets. We'll go Ben Sheets off the Brewers. I know he did have to hit once, obviously. But yeah, it's just like if you never ever hit, and then anywhere in the American League, or sorry, NL, and then you go over there, you're like, what the? Or AL to NL. I'm getting all fucked up. NL. You go there, and then you're like, what? And then you kind of have to, and then you have to play that game. Mm-hmm. Do you swap up pitcher now, or what do I do? Like, we don't ever do this, so I can see that. That was interesting.
Yeah, you'd have like National League managers and American League managers, and they'd stay in their leagues, because they knew that game better, and like, it was just, oh man. That was just cooler. I get why they changed it. I get it. Yeah. But I think by like making the game more, quote, exciting, it also took away that like a little bit of the depth, I think, that was there.
To make baseball as interesting as you possibly can, right?
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Mm-hmm. Make it more interesting. Make everybody wear like shoulder pads and like
basketball. Combine the leagues.
Yeah, well, sort of like, but you'd have to tag somebody, but you'd have to tackle them, and if you can't tackle them,
where they actually have like someone, there's a football player pitching to a baseball player, and then the guy gets hit out to the outfield, and the guy's about to catch it, and the guy tackles him, and he gets up, and the ref's like, like, it's clean. And he's like, oh. And you're like, what the hell's going on? Like, that's the baseball I want.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know the rules, but let's watch it.
If they had basketball, I would watch that. That would
I can't believe someone hasn't made a league.
Right? Like some like millionaire hasn't just funded a small league.
Yeah, to get it started, because, that'd be awesome.
And they've got like those
back.
That minor league it's not a minor league team, but that entertainment baseball bananas team.
Savannah Bananas?
Yeah, they've got that already. That's kind of like the psych outs or whatever. You could do basketball.
Like 60,000 seats a night. That's nuts.
They sell how many?
They're like up to 60,000 people at some of these things, because they're like I think they're actually like going to like huge stadiums now. They travel too. Like it's almost like the Harlem Globetrotters almost.
Dang, they're selling more tickets than the Marlins. They're selling more tickets than a great portion of the Major League Baseball teams.
Yeah.
That's crazy and awesome.
Yeah, it says right here the Bananas the season stopped. The sold out Clemson. They went to Clemson football stadium. 80,000 people were at that game. They went to Panther Stadium. They had 2 nights. 150,000 people between the two, like combined for the 2 nights.
That's crazy, dude.
And that's minor league baseball.
That is crazy. I'm just processing this. I did not know it was like that.
It's I've seen on SportsCenter or an ESPN they show once in a while like clips from there because all of a sudden I'll be like, what is this? And it'll be like Miami Stadium or whatever, and like, oh, that's a Savannah Bananas game. What?
Wow.
It's insane, and people are going nuts. It's not like they're just sitting there watching the game. They're in it. They're going buck wild, like getting super pumped up in this whole situation. So I'm like, wow, it's a whole experience, and they're selling it and people are buying it.
No, that's fine. Like, I don't have a problem with the hustle, man, like at all. I'm surprised by the pull. Like, damn, man.
Yeah.
Damn, 80,000 people. Mm-hmm. Well, that's great. Good for the Savannah Bananas, man.
Yeah,
never would have thought. Yeah, good for them. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, the Brewers can sell 80,000 tickets in a week.
They can, in a week for sure.
Wow. Okay, so that's baseball, I guess.
Yeah. In a nutshell.
Yeah. So Brewers, who are they seeing after the?
A tough opponent. The Giants. We're gonna go visit Willie Adames in his new abode.
Silver Slugger Willie Adames.
We're missing him for sure. Imagine if we could put Ortiz at third and have somebody at shortstop named Willie Adames, Willie Milwaukee back there.
Willie Milwaukee.
Oh, God.
They couldn't pay him, man. They weren't gonna pay him.
We can't pay anybody. That's how it always works. We signed like one 10-year contract every 10 years. That's the extent of it. Mm-hmm. You got Braun, you got Yelich, you got Cheerio. That's it.
Yep. And that's, I guess, fine. You get to an NL championship game every decade or
5-6 years, depending. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah, it's going to be tough going out to San Francisco 4 games and then playing those rivals, the St. Louis Cardinals. We're going to be on the road for a long time with no breaks.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 10-game road trip to San Fran, St. Louis, Chicago. So, yeah, wow. And then the crappy Cubs. Ooh.
Yeah, that's a vacation and a half right there. San Francisco to St. Louis to Chicago and back home.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how they pull out of that. Like you said, Giants are tough. They strong. Yeah. Cardinals, I don't care what their record is. I don't have to look. That's going to be a tough series. It always is. And then
San Francisco's 13-5 right now. They're crushing it. They'd be leading all other divisions if San Diego was in 15-4. Right
yeah.
I mean, look at those. That top 3 is ridiculous out west, but those are not going to be some fun road trips coming up.
No, sir. It's going to be tough to get through in the NL any point. From start to finish, the National League is going to be tough to get through. And, for the Brewers, it always seems like it's tough to get through anyway, but this is the Padres are legit. The Giants are legit. The Dodgers, obviously, legit. The Cubs, they're the Cubs, but they're still the Cubs,
Right now, they're legit.
And that's not even to mention the Mets, who have a good roster. It just depends on whether they actually win games. The Phillies, same deal.
They're starting to be the Mets already. I know they're 11-7, but they lost 2 games to the Twins, and the Twins are terrible. So I don't know if this is going to be the Mets' first skid now, or they're going to wait a little bit.
Yeah,
Because they love pissing everybody off who's a Mets fan. So,
and I mean, so yeah, I guess in the East it's really the Phillies and everyone else, but still, the Phillies are a good squad.
oh yeah,
Brewers know that. So, yeah, doesn't matter what angle you're coming from. National League is going to be tough to get through in the playoffs. So, Brewers really need to not only, keep that offense going, but shore up the holes in it. Get the middle of that lineup, hitting a little better. Because it's not
third base. Someone step up at third base.
Yeah, please.
It's time.
Please.
Torpedo bats. Oh.
Yep, if that's what it takes.
Just start crushing them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Hey, start handing them out.
That'd be great. Oh my God, if we have all of a sudden people are hitting 80 home runs on the regular. Oh, dude.
That'd be awesome.
Dude. Oh my God.
80 home runs without the asterisk. That'd be great.
Now that's a baseball I can get into.
Yeah. Who wants to see me hit some dingers?
Yeah, they're basically using softball bats. Just crushing balls 600 feet.
Yep. Just a joke.
All right. So that's baseball. We'll watch the Brewers. Hopefully they keep this momentum going. Keep an eye on that National League Central. And that's pretty much sports for the week. I believe next week we'll have a little NFL draft action coming at you.
Oh, yeah. I've been preparing for that. I got a lot of stuff we got to talk about that draft. It's going to be right up the road from us. It's coming up. Stay indoors, everybody. Stay indoors.
Yeah, don't go anywhere if you don't have to.
300 to 500,000 people descending on the Fox Valley in the next, probably the next couple days. I think people,
they're going to start showing up after Easter, Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's right. There's a holiday, so probably Monday, Tuesday for sure. So it's going to be nuts around
I don't think people understand. The people I've been talking to, they're like, oh, yeah, the NFL draft's coming around. I'm like, no, you didn't say that you know what that means. You don't know what it's going to be. You don't know. You just
little puppy
don't
walk
know.
by. Look at that little puppy. No, this is...
No.
That's a ferocious beast.
No, what place in Wisconsin has 300,000 people in it? Outside of Milwaukee. How many people does Madison have?
Right around there, but that's still in one spot.
Yeah.
Nowhere.
So Madison has 280, about 280,000, but that's the population of Madison just being added to Green Bay. Just here.
And that's if we're at the low end.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying up to 500,000, so
I
don't know if people know, but we don't have enough room for 500,000 people to stay.
No, and
it's gonna be nuts.
Mm-hmm. And
people
it's
are going to be staying in Madison and Milwaukee and Chicago and everywhere for this thing.
It's gonna happen so fast. It's I had somebody I work with be like, oh, I was thinking, why don't we go down to we should go up to Green Bay.
Just drive up
for the draft. It's a once in a lifetime thing. And I'm like, you're right. It is a once in a lifetime opportunity. It's never going to happen again. You're right. In that you are correct. Mm-hmm. But you are not going to want to be there. Also, it's not really a spectator thing. It's kind of boring, You
don't know what's going to happen. There's a draft a few years ago for the Packers, and they stayed up all night. They had the 32nd pick of the draft, and they just traded it away right at the end. So they picked nobody. So you're going to sit there all day and watch them pick nobody? That's a possibility. That could happen. It's not a spectator sport or anything like that. And the fact that people are saying that around here, have you been to a Packer game? How long does it take you to get to the stadium to go to a Packer game to sit with 65, 70,000 people?
Now multiply that times
forever.
8.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah.
You're gonna like get on the highway where you live and just stop and be like, "Well, this is it. Hopefully, we can watch the draft from our phone in the
Yeah.
car or something." Because you're not gonna go anywhere. Like
You have
it's
to have
nuts.
been
Like,
there already.
mm-hmm.
To get there, you have to be there already.
Yes. No
So
joke.
yeah, we'll get into that, and we'll do a little like early week update on the on the area since we're kind of just off the epicenter.
Yeah, we're close.
Yeah, real close, and yeah, we're
in the fallout for sure.
yeah, we're gonna be just as taken over because we're the next closest, hotel hub. So all our hotels are gonna be sold out. They ain't gonna be, and all those people got to eat somewhere. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm planning like Tuesday to go like grocery shopping and beer and everything else shopping.
Seriously,
Being like we're hunkering down until Sunday.
seriously.
Nuts.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. We'll get into that more next week. In the meantime, make sure you watch some basketball this weekend. Watch some baseball. Go to broforever.com. Watch some YouTube. Check out Bluesky. We're on there. Facebook.
Yeah.
We got that. You can catch if you're watching this on YouTube, you can catch the video or the audio on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you're listening to this on one of those, you can watch it on YouTube.
And our little information is tickering down right here too, Jason, correct?
Yes. It also says to...
Because we never know what Bluesky is. I don't know where it is. What our actual page is. So
yeah,
down
there it is. At Sconny Scoreboard.bsky.social. So that's where we
perfect.
are.
Have to get that tattooed.
Yeah.
Or else I'm never going to remember it.
Make sure you like and subscribe. So hang tight till next week. Watch some sports. Get ready for the draft. Check those mock drafts. See who the Packers are going to take. Because we got some ideas. Oh boy, do we.
Oh, yeah.
So make sure you stay warm or cool. Drive safe. Watch some sports. And take it easy. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Have a good one, everybody. See you next week.